Hello, everybody. All right, so today I'm going to go through the notes that we took on November 14th in case you missed it. And so I'm starting with Module 4, Lesson 4, Factor Polynomials. And so we're going to go through step by step how to do this. Now, we've already factored polynomials when the coefficient of x, or that a, equals 1. And then this is going to make it a little different. So we want to make sure that we're ready. So number 1, put in standard form. Right? And often we'll make it equal to 0. So either it's an expression, so it has no equal sign, just make sure that it's in standard form going from the greatest exponent down to the least greatest exponent. And then if it has an equal sign, we need to make sure that it equals 0. So you may have to move things around. Then number 2, I like to take a line from Joey on the show Friends, where they're asking him like what his pickup line is, and he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Right? And so I say for this mathematical problem is, "Hey, can I take out a GCF, a greatest common factor?" And so we're going to ask ourselves that every time we see a problem. And so I'm going to start by drawing my little person, right? So here's my person smiling because math is fun. And I'm going to have curly hair today. And then I'm going to write my speech bubble. And then I'm going to write the stuff inside my speech bubble before it so that I know how big to make it. Then I'm going to start it with, "Hey, can I take out a GCF? Question mark. Sorry, it'll focus in just a second. And then in case we forget what a GCF is, it means greatest common factor. And there is our focusing. Hey, can I take out a GCF, a greatest common factor? And then we'll give that a speech bubble. So here's my speech bubble, goes all the way around. Beautiful. So we want to make sure we ask ourselves that every time. And sometimes the answer will be yes, right? And you're going to check the variable to see if the variable can be taken out, and then check the coefficients, right? Basically your A, B's, and C's. Then number 3, we're going to find A, B, and C. Then we have to do a little checking, because if A equals 1, well, we've done those a million times, so you're all good with that. Just use your X factor as we did before. But if A does not equal 1, notice I put the not through the equal sign, and A does not equal 0, then we're going to make 2 columns here. I'm going to make a column where I'm telling you the steps in words, and then we're going to make a column where we show the steps using the problem, right? So if A does not equal 1 and it does not equal 0, then follow these steps. Making my 2 columns like this example. So then we'll continue with our step. I'm going to go to step 4. So we've done step 1, put them in standard form. Step 2, hey, can I take out a greatest common factor? Step 3, find A, B, and C. Step 4. We're going to call this slip and slide, right? So we're going to slip A times C into the top part of our X in our X factor, then B, goes on the bottom like before. B on the bottom, B on the bottom. Try to remind yourselves, B on the bottom. And so that'll look a little bit like this. We're going to go A times C on the top, B on the bottom. And then we end up with stuff like this, right? So I'm going to remind us of our slip and slide rule right here. Slip A there. And then we also need to slide A down here. And then the sliding of A down here will make a little more sense in a few minutes. Okay. Let's go step 5. Step 5, we're going to list factors of A times C. And that usually starts with 1 times AC, right? And then we do 2 times and 3 times, and we find all the factors of whatever is in the top of our X. And then we have to choose the factors that add or subtract to equal B. And you'll just do that the same way we've been doing it for the X factor before this when A was equal to 1. So the steps there will be the same. Right, but then we've got step 6. So step 6, I'm going to write it again. Be sure to slide A down and then divide or reduce. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that you can't see that. Fix that. Be sure to slide A down and divide or reduce. And again, when we do that on the side, it'll make more sense. Step 7, we're going to move any denominators after we've, slid down and reduced and divided all of that. Move any denominators to become the coefficient of X. Then the last thing, whatever you have to do to make sure that this really stands out to you. So write it in red, highlight it, make it bigger, do something. We need to look for specials. And I will show you what I mean by specials in the next couple of pages. Pause here if you need to keep going to copy the notes. There's a good in focus place to pause. All right, I'm going to go to the top of this column and we're going to do all of these steps, but with a problem. So the problem I'm going to start with is 8x cubed minus 4x squared minus 12x. Step 1, put it in standard form. This one is already in standard form. We have x to the third, x to the second, x to the first, so it's already in standard form. Step 2, hey, can I take out a greatest common factor? So to do this, we need to check for a variable, and we have an x to the third, x squared, and x. So I can for sure take out an x. And notice that I skipped a line because we're going to need that line to do some work. So I can take out an x. I also noticed that my coefficients are all positive, so I could definitely divide by 2. And then I see that I can divide by 4 because I have 4, 8 is divisible by 4, and 12 is divisible by 4. So I'm going to take out 4x. Now, what do I mean by take out? Like, how do we do that, right? So we divide each term by 4x. And so then we've got 8 divided by 4 is 2. X to the third divided by x. If you don't remember how to do dividing exponents, we could come and look at our laws of exponent page. I'm going to look in the quotient of a power section. I see that x to the sixth over x to the third looks similar to what I'm working with. And so I'm going to subtract x to the sixth minus the third that was on the bottom gives us x to the third. So I'm going to go do that with my problem. So I have x to the third. This x is to an invisible 1. So that would be x to the third minus 1, which is going to give us x to the second power, or x squared. Then I continue that. Negative 4 divided by 4 is going to be minus 1. You can put the invisible 1 if you like to. And then x squared minus x, x squared divided by x. So again, we've got an invisible 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. So that becomes minus x. Negative 12 divided by 4 gives us negative 3. X divided by x is, they just cancel, it becomes 1. So there's just nothing there. So I have put it in standard form. I have found my greatest common factor and pulled that out. Now I need to find A, B, and C. Note that we are finding A, B, and C of the part that is now inside of the parentheses, not our original equation, but the part we have left over after factoring. So our A is 2. Our B is this invisible 1, so negative 1. And C is our constant in this case, so negative 3. Now, if A equals 1, I can go do X factor like we have been, but A is not equal to 1. So, and A is not equal to 0. So now I need to go through the steps on this side. So we're going to slip A times C into the top part of our X. So I have a big old X here. We're going to go A times C. A is 2. C is negative 3. So I get negative 6. Says then B goes on the bottom. So B is negative 1. Now I'm going to step 5. So I'm going to list the factors of A times C. So I'm going to list factors. And we've got 1 times 6. Notice I'm not dealing with the negative sign yet. I will deal with that over here, right? So I've got 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. So I need to see, right, which ones add or subtract to make B. So 1 plus 6 is 7. 6 minus 1 is 5, so that doesn't work. 2 plus 3 is 5. But 3 minus 2 is 1. So the 2 and the 3 are what are going to work over there. Now I have to decide which one needs to be negative, which one needs to be positive. We need a negative 1, so I need it to be negative 3. Then we have x plus 2, x minus 3. Now warning, this is why we should be writing our steps. So if we write, slip the A over there, and then slide the A's here to divide, then we'll make sure we're ready. Otherwise, you'll often get to this step and think you're done, because if A were equal to 1, we would be done. But A is equal to 2 in this one, so we still have to divide by A. All right, my A is 2, so I'm going to have x plus 2 divided by 2, and then x minus 3 divided by 2. So step 6 says, be sure to slide A down and divide or reduce. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So this ends up being x plus 1. And then this one, I cannot reduce it, I cannot divide it. So let's go to step 7. It says, move any denominators to become the coefficient of x. So I'm going to move this denominator, the 2, to become a coefficient of x. That'll give me 2x minus 3. And we're going to look for specials. This is also a good time to remember that 4x that we had way up there. So I'll put that right outside. We factored it out earlier. We don't want to lose it. So the specials we can have would be the difference of squares. So we've got difference of squares. And you should have seen those in Algebra 1. We did a little bit with them in Module 2. So you've seen them before, difference of squares. Then you can also look for sum or difference of cubes. So looking for sum or difference of perfect cubes. We have not played with those yet, but we will next week. And then the last one you might learn about is looking for the perfect square trinomial pattern. And so we'll learn it and keep our eye out for that also. All right, I'm going to turn the page and we're going to do it one more time with a different problem just to practice it. I encourage you to have this page handy so that you can go back and forth to remind yourself of the steps. All right. Here we go. I am titling my page Module 4, Lesson 4, Practice. And we're going to go 11, 14, 25. And our practice problem is going to be 4a cubed minus 49a. So if you go back and look, first step is put it in standard form. It is already in standard form. We started with a high exponent, a value of 3, and we went to a lower exponent, an invisible 1, right? Step 2. Hey, can I take out a greatest common factor? So yeah, I can take out. Let's check for coefficients. 4 and 49, they're not even, so 2 doesn't work. 4 does not go into 49, so I've got nothing there. But I do have a variable that I can take out. So I'm going to take out the a. Notice I'm leaving space so that I can do the math. What I mean by take it out is that we're going to divide, right? And so I'm going to divide this, and I'm going to be left with 4a squared minus 49. Step 3 is to find a, b, and c. So let's find a equals, b equals, c equals. It's a little trickier because it's not a trinomial, right? But a equals 4, b equals 0 because there isn't that center term with the a, and then c equals negative 49. Negative 49, don't lose our signs. Step 4 is we're going to slip and slide, right? So I'm going to slip a up here and go a times c. And then I'm going to slide down here so that when I get to this section, I can divide by 4. Got to slide that division down there. Slide the a down so we can divide. A is 4. C is negative 49. So that's going to give me a negative 196. and then our b goes in the bottom, and it is 0. What is step 5? Step 5 is to list our factors. Now this part isn't fun when we have big numbers, because you've got 1 times 196, 2 times 98. 3 doesn't go because the digital root of this is 7, so 3 does not work. 4 will be times 49. If you forget how we're doing this, we're writing 196 in the calculator, dividing by 4, that equals 49. So I know 4 times 49 equals 196. We keep going. I know 5 doesn't work. If I use the calculator, 6 doesn't work. We've got 7 times 28. 8 doesn't work. 9 doesn't work. 10 doesn't work. 11, check them on your calculator. 11 doesn't work. 12 does not work. 13 gives me a decimal, so that doesn't work. 14 times 14 works. Ooh, we want to notice it's a perfect square, right? So 14 times 14 equals 196. So that means the square root of 196 is 14. So that's beautiful. So that tells me that I'm going to use 14 and 14 in the sides. But that will not give me 0 when I add or subtract them, and that will not give me a negative 196. So what would you do? Yeah, one of them needs to be a negative. It doesn't matter if it's the first 14 or the second 14 that's negative, doesn't matter. So now I put that in the bottom, x plus 14, x minus 14. Oh, I did the same mistake again. Our variable is actually an a. So those should be a's in there. I'll go ahead and fix it now. All right. So I get in that habit, right, of using x because we're in x factor, but our variable today is a. All right. So then the next step says to divide or reduce. So I cannot divide 14 divided by 4 evenly. So that means I'm going to reduce. So let's write the word reduce over here to remind us of this step. And I'm going to go 14 divided by 4. But I need to reduce it. They're both even. So I know that I can do 2 over 2. And I think that's our best place to start. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So now I put this reduced fraction over here for my factors. So I get a plus 7 over 2. And I get a minus 7 over 2. Now we go to the next step. Step 7 says that I need to move the denominator to become a coefficient of our variable, right? So that means my answer is going to be 2a plus 7 and 2a minus 7. And we want to look up, we want to bring down our a, right? We took out an a up here. It's a good time to bring it down. And now we need to look for specials. I don't have anything squared, so it cannot be difference of squares. I don't have any cubes, so it cannot be sum or difference of cubes. And we don't know the pattern yet for trinomials, perfect square trinomials, so we're good. Now, something about looking for specials. If we had looked for specials way up here, we might have noticed that this became a difference of squares because 4 is a perfect square, a squared is a perfect square, 49 is a perfect square, and subtraction means that it is a difference. Okay, so let's do it. This is a perfect difference of squares. So we can do, what is the square root of 4? It is 2. What is the square root of a squared? A. What is the square root of 49? Square root of 49 is plus or minus 7. So we go plus 7 minus 7. And then again, don't forget your a out in front because we factored it out way back in the beginning. And then check it out. Doesn't matter how you do it. Get the same answer. Saved us a lot of work if we had noticed that it was a difference of squares. But if you don't notice, just do all the steps. You'll still get it right. Doesn't matter. Have a great day. Oh, I guess I could also show you, sorry, I could also show you the worksheet that we did so that you can try them. So then we tried these two with partners, and then we tried these on our own, and then some people made it to 5 and 6. And so then we did that in classwork. Have a great day.